Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick announcement to let you know that in this video, both stories have updates. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user WriteInsurance746. I, 25 female, overheard my friend, 24 male, call me a major effing cutie. I don't know what my next move is. Saturday night, some friends were having a party. I got called into work, so I showed up a bit later. I arrived at the party and I overheard some of the guys talking in the kitchen, talking about the girls in our group of friends. Curiosity got the better of me, so I listened in. Noah chimed in that he thinks I'm a major effing cutie, which caught me off guard because this guy is way out of my league and I could tell the other guys thought so too. Telling him to just go for it because there's no way I'd turn him down. Except I did without realizing it. He told me that he was going to ask me out, except whenever he brought up the idea of us spending time one-on-one, I said, that sounds really effing awkward. But I meant that I would be awkward, hence why I would even think to say something like that. I've always been very attracted to him, to the point that I feel guilty that when we all hang out, I have to resist the urge to constantly think about how badly I want to jump his bones. I was worried that in a one-on-one hangout, it would just be this one-sided attraction that I would just have to sort out on my own. Noah mentioned to the other guys that he had got a reservation for a nut class I've been wanting to do for the longest time, but it always gets booked up in minutes when reservations open up. They joked about which one of them he was going to take to the class and called me stupid for not being interested. I went to the bathroom and I guess psyched myself up to flirt with Noah to see if I could maybe still have a chance. But whenever I came out, there was another acquaintance of ours that was hanging all over him. I asked one of our friends what the deal was there, and she said she's been working on him all night. I guess I was hoping if he still felt some way about me, he would come after me, seeing I was there now, but that never happened. I stayed for a while, but I guess the revelation that this guy was into me somewhat recently and I blew that up, and him most likely sleeping with someone else, ruined the night for me, so I left before the rest of the core of our friend group. Now, I guess I'm torn between making a profession of interest in this guy or letting my pride get in the way and saying screw him for sleeping with this other woman. Maybe it's already too late? I mean, if they slept together Saturday, maybe they went to Sunday brunch and fell in love? Anyway, maybe no one will even see this, but writing it down has definitely made me feel better. I appreciate whatever advice whoever reads this can give. Well, OP, in my opinion, you should just go for it. Nothing is lost until he is in a committed relationship. Or until you know that he is actually in love with somebody else and wants to work on something with somebody else, like say this girl he met that night. But in my opinion, up until then, it's open game. So the way I see it, you've got two choices. You can flirt with him in hopes that he asks you out again, or you can take the lead here and ask him out. He's definitely not going to expect that, and it might be a good surprise actually. And it'll be the fastest way for him to get the hint that you are interested in him. One thing's for sure, the more you wait, the more time you give him to focus on somebody else. So just go ahead and do it. And no, you don't need to ask your friends, did he say yes or no? You already know he's into you or he finds you attractive. And I think that's good enough to just give it a go and, just take the leap. And what do you guys think OP should do in this situation? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP. Kurtzila says, I mean, it sounds like he's put a lot of thought into trying to date you, but his approach hasn't worked because of a miscommunication. You being there by itself didn't change the scenario for him because he's not aware of your interest. You're aware of his. So that's why he didn't fight off a girl that was obviously interested to go see you. Again, in his mind and what you heard was that he felt like he struck out with you. So now that you know, it means the ball is in your court. You can start by just asking them if they still want to have some one-on-one time, and if you think you can get over your own awkwardness if they'll be patient with you. That'll send the message that it was never a problem with them and improve their confidence in how they approach the rest of the situation. And OP responds, I'm going to give him a call before too long. I will ask him out, even if it kills me. Lol, he gets off work soon. Hopefully I can update with good news. Crown of Posies says, dude, you're being a major effing idiot, not trying to be mean by making a joke with the title. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was young, I met this smoke show of a man at a frat party. He was a pledge and I wasn't allowed to talk to him, but I gave 0 Fs and did anyway. We chatted the whole night, but because he was a pledge, he couldn't or didn't ask me out. So I stalked him on social media and then found a way to message him about something random. I got him talking to me again outside of that awkward fraternity scene and asked him out. The date was amazing. He asked me to be his girlfriend. The fraternity threatened to drop him for dating me. I threatened the fraternity with a hazing charge. They backed down. And now, 6 years later, I'm marrying said smoke show and 3 of his brothers from the frat are his groomsmen. Life is about taking what you want. Sure, you're awkward, but he probably likes that awkwardness. I'm a weirdo, but my fiance loves that I'm weird and his freakiness matches mine. Just go for it. And Opie responds, ah, F, your story convinced me. As much as I'd love to curl up in a ball and pretend that none of this happened, I don't think I'd be able to just let this go. I'm going to call him, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm nervous as F, but I'm going to call him. Bellum Romanum 05 says, a word of advice. If a guy likes you and thinks you're super cute, doesn't necessarily mean he will come after you. He might be afraid of ruining it completely or that you might not like him back. The signals you have given to him before might have put some doubts in his head about making any more moves. In the end, he probably wants you but is afraid of continuing the pursuit out of respect for you. If you want my advice, I would suggest that you talk to him privately. Tell him about your feelings for him and say that you would really like to date him, if that's what you want. It's the easiest way to break this deadlock. Because I would doubt that he would try to make a move for you after you told him that it's really effing awkward spending time with him alone. Good luck, my friend. Additional information from Opie's comments. I guess I should say it never really felt like we were flirting when he asked me to hang out, just the 2 of us. I was attracted to him, yes, but I refused to develop any sort of romantic attachment because I thought it was such a long shot of actually happening. There was a point about a month ago where I thought maybe we were flirting. He asked me if I was interested in men. My serious relationships have been with women, and I jokingly said, if you're asking, then absolutely. And he started blushing and stuff, but then he backed off until about a week ago. Everyone was kind of busy with summer plans and vacation stuff though. Anyways, I'm going to give him a call before too long. I will ask him out even if it kills me, lol. He gets off work in like 10 minutes and with every tick of the clock it gets closer to 5. I feel more weight pressing on my heart. In post update. I spoke to him on the phone. I tried to play it cool, ask him about his day and stuff, but I was going to chicken out unless I just went for it. He was in the middle of telling me about a client being a pain and I interrupted him by saying, I want to take you on a date. He said he was surprised, but he was happy to hear that. He said that he was supposed to take the woman out from Saturday on a date tomorrow, but that he would take me instead if that's what I wanted. It killed me inside to humble myself to say that's what I wanted, but I did. We talked a bit more before we hopped off the phone. I'm super into kickboxing, so he's going to check out my gym with me this week too. Thank you guys for prodding me into swallowing my pride. Instead of making myself miserable, wallowing in pity, you guys gave me the confidence to do what I deep down inside knew I wanted to do. Alright OP, you took the plunge and you got the prize. Good for you. Now, before we move on with the update, just remember that up here is a playlist full of other stories that you might want to check out after this video ends. Now let's continue with the update. Before I start the update, I just wanted to thank you guys again for the kind words of encouragement before to finally kick myself into high gear. It is much appreciated. I felt I should clarify a few things. The reason why I never pursued anything with this guy before is that I'm not many guys' type. I'm a nearly 6 foot tall, muscular woman who practices mixed martial arts as a hobby. This has never bothered me in the past since I'm bisexual. I have only ever dated women though, so I guess that led to awkwardness when I had actually garnered the attention of a man. Hello? This also is part of the reason why I nearly melted when he called me a cutie. It made me feel small? I don't know. Noah and I had a great first date and a second date, in quotes because we went and worked out together. Don't know if that counts. We got onto the topic of his attraction to me since he usually dates more conventional types of attractive women. He quipped back that he didn't think it was fair to ask him that since he's really not like the people I usually date. I had to pry a bit, but he confessed that ever since he saw the episode of Futurama when he was 13, where they sentenced the male characters on the show to death by snoo snooze, he's been attracted to tall, strong women. I was nearly rolling on the floor laughing after he told me. Things got kind of awkward from there. We agreed to go exclusive, but we weren't telling our friends quite yet. Being secretive seemed exciting and all, you know? One of our friends confronted him in front of our friends that he never actually dropped things with the woman from the party. He was just ghosting her. We had a date the next day and we were planning on consummating the relationship, but I guess the whole ghosting thing rather than breaking things off with her didn't sit well with me. I talked to him about it and he apologized. Apparently, she thought they were much more serious than they actually were, and that's why he thought ghosting would be easier, but he said he was acting like a coward. He had called her the night before and broke things off with her. That brings us to now. We have a date tonight for dinner and a movie. The conversations have gotten a bit steamy and it feels like sex is the next natural step, but I'm still really nervous about that. It was a kind of joint idea to not tell our friends before, but I told them that I don't want to take that next step until we do. He said he would be happy to tell everyone I'm his girlfriend. My heart was melting because I guess I thought we were just casually doing this thing, but he said, nope, I'm his girlfriend. We're going to tell our friends next time we all get together. Despite the bit where things got a little rocky, I'm so very happy. I have a boyfriend for the first time in my life, LMAO. I can't wait to tell my family. They're going to be so shocked. Lots of people in my life are. Anyway, that's the update. Maybe I can come back again in a few years if I decide to propose to the guy. Extended update from OP's comments. The dates have been going well, really well. We've always been friends in the same circle, even if we didn't hang out just the two of us. I guess I'm getting nervous because I've never had sex with a man, and now I have fewer and fewer reasons to keep pushing it off. For months it was all I could think about, and now that it's on the table, I'm panicking a little bit. However, I do want to be his girlfriend. As I said, I've been friends with him for a few years, and I care about him. Dating a man is just a much different experience than I'm used to. I don't know. It just felt natural to be his girlfriend. Gives me a bit more comfort in sleeping with him. I don't know. Tonight will be our 5th date in 10 days. Maybe we're just a little crazy about each other, lol. Well, from the writing, I'm guessing OP has a lot of butterflies in her stomach, so hopefully it'll all work out great for the both of them. Thank you so much for sharing, OP. This was a wonderful story, and again, all the best for the both of you in the future, and take care. And now let's move on to the next story, which also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user mjod007. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take my toddler to visit my in-laws? Hubs and I have a young toddler, 15 months old. We live out of state from both of our families who are also far from each other, a 5-hour drive. Neither of our families lives very close to a large airport, about 3 hours for my family and 2 for his. For context, my family adores my husband, his family hates me, and I don't like them either. The reasons they hate me aren't important, just know that it's nothing I've done. There are certain unchangeable things about me that they hate, and they were against us being together as soon as they found out. Since establishing boundaries and getting married, they have calmed down, but they still avoid speaking or making eye contact with me. Now we have a toddler, and I'm planning a trip to visit my parents for an upcoming holiday. We're also planning to tour the area because we're considering moving there next year. I've done all the legwork to plan the trip. Hubs wants to visit his family as part of the trip, but I refuse. My main reasons are it's way too long of a car ride with how young the kiddo is, and it's already enough traveling and stress just getting out there. Second, they don't do anything for our kid. Multiple members of my immediate and extended family have visited at least once and stepped in to help with childcare gaps, even though they are all a flight away. So part of the purpose of this trip is for us to be the ones going to visit instead of them always coming to us. Hubs' family has never met my kiddo and has only done 2 video calls, although they have sent some small gifts. Third, we'd have to take more time off of work to fit it in. Hubs is pissed and thinks I'm trying to deny his family a relationship with our kid. I've extended an open invitation for them to visit us, but so far they haven't. There's no financial burden on their side. They just give semi-plausible excuses. They counter with an offer to take our kiddo for a few years so we can focus on our careers and kiddo can learn their language. Obviously, that's a hard no from us. I offered to meet them for a day or two in the major airport city. They go there all the time since we have to go back anyway, but that's not good enough either. Apparently, we have to go to them and can't expect them to accommodate us because they just won't do it. So, if I want them to meet the kiddo, we have to do a lot of the work. But I don't really care if they meet my kiddo or not, especially after all they've put me through. It's not my job to make sure that happens. I think if Hubs wants them to meet kiddo, then he needs to plan his own trip and coordinate with them, not tack on to what I'm already planning. Hubs thinks it's ridiculous to expect him to plan another trip when we've already gone to be out there, even though it's not exactly close, and that I'm not considering his feelings. Am I the a-hole? OP, no, I don't think you're the a-hole. I do think your husband is being a little bit of an a-hole, but not fully a complete one, because it is okay for him to want his family to meet his kid, however, not the way he's proposing to do it. And I think your husband's family is being a huge a-hole, particularly for the reasons that they don't like you. You haven't said exactly why, but you said it's something that you can't change about yourself, and that's enough to be an a-hole if you don't like somebody for something like that. My speculative guess would be that it's because you don't look like them. And if that's the reason, then I would talk to your husband regarding them ever meeting my kid, especially considering that they haven't made any attempt to actually meet the baby. So I think you and your husband need to have a very deep conversation regarding his family. And what do you guys think? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Algebra Lover says, not the a-hole. You do have a marriage issue though, and a family issue. The offer to take the child for a few years to allow you to focus on your career suggests that his family is a certain ethnic group to me, and that you likely are not that same ethnic group. That is why they refuse to have anything to do with you? You need to make absolutely certain that you are present on any visit between your child and your husband's family. You don't want the child left with them, and your partner needs backup to say no. You also need to watch the interaction and make certain that they are welcoming to the child and don't discriminate based on ethnicity. I hope I'm wrong, but I've seen it too many times. Good luck. And OP responds, you're pretty much spot on the family dynamics and ethnic group issues. I suspect that if kiddo was a different gender or turned out to be a darker color, they wouldn't be interested at all. I'm definitely not going to allow any unsupervised visits for many years. Winsluke12 says, not the a-hole. However, exactly what your in-laws hate about you is somewhat important here, because if your child shares those unchangeable characteristics, then you would actually be an a-hole for introducing them to the kid at all. And OP responds, I've been told I should be more upfront about it because I didn't make it clear in the post, but my in-laws are super duper racist and they hate my race most of all. So even though most of the active conflict has settled, there's no coming back from it because they didn't change their minds or open their hearts. They just try to pretend I don't exist as much as possible. CJack66 says, info request. What is your husband doing to back you up with his family? And OP responds, he's actually done a lot. I don't need them to like me or fake conversation with me, but I do need them to respect me as his wife, meaning no more single invites to family events, no more excluding me from holidays, no hiding me from grandma, etc. He did put his foot down and things improved to a place where I was satisfied, but having a kid has added complexity to the situation. Alright, well, community says not the a-hole, and it is an ethnic issue, which sucks. Those in-laws are absolute a-holes. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I appreciate all of the comments, even the ones that said you're the a-hole, because they helped me remember to be empathetic to my husband's feelings. In the end, I stood my ground. We will not be visiting my in-laws for this trip or at all in the near future. It definitely got a bit heated, but logically it just didn't make any sense to visit my in-laws. We'd be about 5 hours away by car. We'd have to rent a car to see them. We'd have to pay for a hotel because they don't want me in their house. And they don't even celebrate this holiday. I also recently started a new job and don't have much personal time off banked up. What little do I need for the short holiday trip and then our big move in spring? I laid all this out to my husband and asked him how we would resolve these issues, and he didn't have an answer. I can't magically get more personal time off. Neither one of us wants to add 10+ hours of driving onto a trip that already has a cross-country flight or pays for a hotel or car rental. And frankly, our parents do not live near each other, even though they might be in the same region. Think one family in New York City, the other in Buffalo, New York. Yeah, it's the same state, but it's not close at all. So this expectation that when we see one, we have to see both has to stop. A few weeks later, we talked about it again in the context of us moving closer, still a 5 to 6 hour drive, and I laid out for him that I'm simply not willing to go so far out of my way to make sure my in-laws have a relationship with our kid. They are racist. They were terrible parents to all of their kids, but especially abusive to my husband. They're already playing favorites, read Golden Child and Scapegoat, with their other grandkids, and I'm not going to move heaven and earth to have the idea of a family with them. My husband has come a long way in not jumping every time they snap their fingers, but this was something he struggled with. I completely understand that he wants to have the same experience that I have had of showing my kid off to my family, watching the bonds develop, etc. But in reality, it just won't happen for this family. They don't care about him very much, never call or send a gift for his birthday, even though he spends a lot of money on them for their holidays and birthdays. They still have no plans to come to visit our kid and haven't done a video call in 6 months. In the more than 10 years we've been together, not once have they come to us, so we're dropping the rope. Hubs is free to have whatever relationship he's comfortable with, but we aren't going to be putting in any extra effort right now unless something changes. I hope this helps other people in multiracial relationships see how things might turn out. Your in-laws may never come around and you have to decide if it's worth it to you. For me it is, but it's not without conflict at times. Well, it'll be good for you and your husband. You guys made the right decision for your family, which is what is important here. Screw his parents. They suck anyways. Thank you so much for sharing, OP, and all the best to you and your family in the future. Take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.